No, I did not see it coming. I was getting ready for my prom, getting out the shower, and I got a call from Jay Brown, who works for Jay-Z, and he just told me, it's a nice run, kiddo, but, gotta let you go. So that was the end of it, and I just kept it to myself for like 6 months. I didn't want to tell anybody because I didn't want to deal with the questioning and all of that, so I just kept it to myself, and finally people started hearing it through the grapevine.
You kind of had like a mentor relationship with Jay-Z during that time?
Yeah, he was definitely a mentor. He was like a father figure.
This lady of the rock.
She's the princess.
The princess.
Yeah.
Okay, and what sets her apart as an artist from other R&B vocalists, female, that you think?
I just say she's young, you know what I'm saying? So the integrity and the truth in what she's saying, you know what I'm saying, mixed with how she's really a sweet, innocent girl if you speak to her, you know what I'm saying? But she's seen a lot, so her twist on it and her take on it is you.
Oh my God, can we take a moment to talk about one of the most shocking disappearing acts in music history? I'm talking about Teairra Marie, honey. 1 minute she was the Princess of Rockefeller with every single door wide open in front of her, and the next, poof, kicked to the curb by Jay-Z, while Rihanna, this fresh-faced beauty from the Caribbean, suddenly becomes the new golden child. And let me tell you something, if Jay-Z and Beyonce think they're just gonna get away with what they did just because Rihanna turned out to be this massive superstar, they've got another thing coming, because Teairra Marie, she's still holding on to those grudges, and can you blame her? There have always been these whispers, these little rumors floating around about how Beyonce basically destroyed her career because she saw Teairra as competition. Well, darlings, let's spill all the tea about what really went down between them.
Rihanna, and we had a showcase. And at the showcase, there were 2 artists performing. Her name is Teairra Marie, and she's a really sweet girl. And the truth is, I was paying a little more attention to her than I was to Rihanna. After the showcase, Beyonce just gave me one of those looks, and he said, that Rihanna girl, she's a beast. And she looked away, right? And I was like, so I did a Rihanna double take. But it wasn't as though I didn't believe in Rihanna. I love that girl, right? But I paid a little more attention when Beyonce said,
listen, here's the truth that everyone's been whispering about. There's absolutely no such thing as a squeaky clean billionaire, honey. They had to have stepped on somebody's toes to get that high up, and the way Jay-Z and Beyonce moved in those early 2000s. Chile, it just keeps proving that they weren't playing fair at all. Picture this, sweet little Teairra Marie, barely 16 years old, suddenly thrust into the spotlight after getting signed to Def Jam by L.A. Reid himself. And let me tell you about her mentor, Big Mike from Kiss Productions. He didn't just shop her demo around, he knew exactly what he had. The moment L.A. Reid heard this girl sing, he was convinced she was going to be the next big thing. Even Def Jam's A&R executive, Shakir Stewart, couldn't contain himself. He literally said, and I quote, Teairra was a star when she walked into the room. She captured the room when she did her audition. We fell in love with her from day one. Honey, Teairra was everything they wanted. Young, gorgeous, with this urban look that had both L.A. Reid and Jay-Z convinced she was going to take over the industry. And when Make Her Feel Good dropped, baby, those numbers were insane. Jay-Z thought he'd struck pure gold, darling. They started calling her the Princess of Rockefeller, parading her at all these public events with Jay-Z's stamp of approval, making it crystal clear Teairra Marie was the one to watch. Even when Rihanna came strutting onto the scene ready to prove herself, the executives barely gave her a second glance. They were so convinced Teairra was going to be the bigger star. Sure, Riri had already scored with Pon de Replay, but the label was pouring everything they had into Teairra, while poor Rihanna was basically left to figure things out on her own. But then, oh honey, then all it took was a few words from Queen Bey herself to flip this whole situation upside down. Now remember, Beyonce was already Jay-Z's girlfriend and a massive star thanks to Dangerously in Love dominating the airwaves. Let's not forget Destiny's Child was still fresh in everyone's minds too. So when Beyonce spoke about any artist, especially in R&B, baby, people listened. According to L.A. Reid, they had this in-house company showcase, and who just happened to be there? Miss Beyonce herself. After the girls finished performing, Bey went right up to Reid and simply said Rihanna was a beast. That's it. She didn't need to say anything else. Those few words were enough to push Rihanna straight to the front of the line. But let me spill some more tea. Rihanna and Beyonce, they were never friends, honey. Even now, they're more like frenemies than anything else. I mean, have you ever wondered why these two powerhouses never did a song together? When Rihanna got signed by Jay-Z, she started singing Beyonce's praises like her life depended on it, saying every artist should be like her. But between you and me, she probably only did that because she knew Def Jam didn't just randomly start paying attention to her out of nowhere.
A big fan of Beyonce.
I love her.
And so has she given you any kind of advice or...
Yeah, she actually wrote me this cute little letter, and she signed it with her autograph. It was so cute. When I first met her, and she wrote, she was telling me, just let loose when you perform and just have fun and be in control. Definitely. I just thought she was, well, the first thing I saw, was her beauty and how beautiful she was. And then I listened to her music and I loved her music. She's incredibly talented. I think she's what every female artist should strive to be or strive to be like, because she, despite all her success, she still remains.
Right. How was it like meeting her? I could not speak.
Really?
Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does.
And darling, according to Teairra Marie herself, pushing her aside at Def Jam was one of the biggest mistakes Beyonce could have ever made. You see, just like L.A. Reid, Beyonce knew exactly how talented Teairra was, and that was the real problem. According to all these theories and reports floating around, Beyonce saw the writing on the wall. Teairra was going to be serious competition for her brand in the future because they had such similar sounds. So what did she do? Cut it off at the root before things got too messy.
I got dropped from Rockefeller on my prom day. They didn't know.
Getting ready for the prom?
Yeah, honey, getting ready. I was putting lotion on my legs, got a phone call, ring, ring. Hey, yeah, we're gonna be letting you go. I was like, oh. I didn't even tell anybody that day. But, I was depressed for a little minute. I got back up. I was only 18 years of age, so it was time to get back up, get back out there, and just show my resilience. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm here, new deal with Warner Brothers, for real, so...
Let me paint this picture for you. After Teairra's debut single dropped, everyone started comparing her to Beyonce because they were practically twins in their music and performance styles. The comparisons got so intense that Def Jam actually started giving Teairra Beyonce's parts from Destiny's Child's Lose My Breath. When Rockefeller Records Presents Teairra Mari finally dropped, Christian Horde from Rolling Stone spilled all the tea. He wrote, and listen to this shade, apparently Jay-Z just can't get enough of Beyonce, having scored the real deal as his girlfriend. The Def Jam press is releasing records from a couple of pretty young things who obviously spent some time studying Miss B's playbook. The debut from Detroit native Teairra Mari is full of moan, grind, and peel. Oh honey, Beyonce wasn't having any of that. She was just finding her footing as a solo artist, and here comes this comparison. Everyone thought Rihanna would just be another one-hit wonder who'd fade into the background. So imagine Beyonce's shock when suddenly Rihanna's name is being mentioned in the same breath as hers, with some people even suggesting that Riri might become the more successful artist. Yikes. And it certainly didn't help that Rihanna and Jay-Z were getting a little too comfortable with each other. I mean, we've all lost count of how many times that man has stepped out on his wife. This whole situation between Rihanna and Beyonce got so messy that by the time the Tidal press conference came around, it was pure drama. An insider spilled the tea, saying, the Tidal press conference was awkward to begin with. Trying to fit all the inflated egos of Nicki Minaj, Madonna, and Kanye on stage was difficult. But Beyonce and Rihanna made things worse. They refused to stand next to each other or even speak. Handlers and coordinators went through great lengths to keep the divas happy. The whole show was carefully choreographed, and these two almost had nothing to do with each other. But in all their games and music politics, you know who really got hurt? Poor Teairra Marie. Can you imagine finding out you've been dropped while you're getting ready for prom? She had always looked up to Jay-Z like a father figure, and Beyonce and Rihanna were like family to her. For Jay-Z to not even have the decency to address her once before dropping her? That cut deep, honey. It was her first brutal lesson that there's absolutely no loyalty in this industry. She tried to keep pushing forward by signing with Warner Brothers and releasing new music, but it was never the same. Def Jam had tried to market her as this R&B artist, pushing this narrative through her second single, No Daddy. But who was really buying that a 16 or 17-year-old knew about all that? Sure, people were more forgiving when hip-hop MCs like Foxy Brown rapped about those things, but a teenage R&B artist being so explicit, it, the public wasn't having it. But what really sent Teairra Marie's career into a downward spiral was when radio stations started refusing to play her songs. When Sponsor came out, it was an absolute bop. Like, every gold digger finally had their anthem. Even if you weren't feeling the lyrics, that song was stuck in your head. And with Gucci Mane and Soulja Boy on there, Chile, it had everything needed to be a worldwide hit, but for some mysterious reason, shows like BET's 106 and Park wouldn't touch it. BT even banned her video, claiming it was too detrimental to young women. Like, really? Of all the videos they played, this was suddenly too much? When Sponsor didn't break through, Teairra thought love and hip-hop might give her career another boost. But baby, that move was like the final nail in the coffin. They painted her as this erratic troublemaker, and it was not a good look. Her music career got so derailed that she never reached her full potential, forever remaining this underrated artist who could have been so much more. And honey, the people have opinions about it. One person said Beyonce didn't see Rihanna surpassing her in the way that she did because her vocal ability wasn't as great as Teairra Marie. But here we are, LOL. She should have kept her mouth shut. Another fan spilled, Rockefeller really did my girl Teairra Marie wrong. She really could have been bigger. And someone else demanded, whenever that Jay-Z documentary hits, I want to know why they gave up on Teairra Marie. That debut is still everything to this day. Now, some might argue that Riri was serving bigger hits than Teairra right from the start, but that still doesn't explain why Jay-Z dropped her so fast. That switch from investing everything in her to giving her absolutely nothing even when she was bringing in all that money. It really makes you think the decision might have been more than just business. But what do you think? Are we giving Jay-Z and Beyonce too much credit here? Or does all the blame for how her career turned out really fall on Teairra Marie? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Bye.